And
like, he had a background. I guess maybe they didn't listen to the interview or read the Wikipedia or do any research whatsoever. People just can't read anymore. Maybe that's actually the problem, is everybody's just fucking illiterate.
Sorry, my chat's fucking pissing me the fuck off. So.
Why? What are they doing? They're like, we are okay with corruption? When it's our
yeah, they're like, yeah, we love nepotism. Cronyism is my favorite.
okay.
Having the right last name and becoming a consultant for no-show jobs is based, actually. Have you ever seen The Sopranos?
Just to be clear, that
political pardons, what I take to be corrupt pardons, on the basis of personal familial allegiance. And so I really appreciate what you were just saying there about Liberty Mutual. I think it's the wrong incentive.
But he was...
But mostly it is 3 hours of Hunter playing the victim, and he like rages at us, and he rages at Axelrod and Clooney. But the problem was the voters.
I know.
And they never
That's
addressed
what I wanted
that.
to say.
The voters thought Joe Biden was too old. And when it comes to the attacks on Hunter himself, like, okay, what if we just stipulate for the hypothetical, like, yes, okay, all your business dealings were above board and legal.
Why the hypothetical? You mean what actually was... Okay, hold on, I'm sorry. So I'm addressing him under the hypothetical that he's not a child rapist, okay? I don't understand why he would treat this as a hypothetical when this is, as far as we know, the factual record.
All your paintings were purchased by art lovers who loved the product and didn't know your name. Trump is worse. You were on the board of Burisma because of who your dad is.
Oh God. These are liberal. I mean, I never said I like Pod Save America that much, I guess.
And
like, he had a background. I guess maybe they didn't listen to the interview or read the Wikipedia or do any research whatsoever. People just can't read anymore. Maybe that's actually the problem, is everybody's just fucking illiterate. Like, do you think there's like a little earpiece in where they pay staffers? Or I guess Gen Z can't. Do they bring in boomers or Gen X? Like, who actually does the reading for these? I guess nobody can fucking read an article or watch an interview or do any kind of homework for anything anymore?
That is what people hate about Washington. And it was part of the problem. And like, there's some other weird shit. Like, he said blames the debate on Biden's staff, saying they gave him Ambien on his foreign trip. But like, Biden got back from the G7 on June 14th. The debate was June 27th.
A lot of fucking Ambien.
If Ambien was the issue, like, I don't think it's Ambien, it's age.
Also,
right?
It's like, he was tired, so they gave him Ambien?
Also, like, just like, allow me to rant one more second. Like, his big beef is that Republicans stick together and Democrats are united. But he's obsessed with this show, obsessed with George Clooney. They don't talk about Gaza until 2 hours and 50 minutes into the interview.
Why would they at all? Like, it's Hunter Biden. He's not Palestinian. What?
I'm guessing that was the bigger threat to party unity than a George Clooney op-ed. You know what I mean? It's just this sense of entitlement that, like, from Biden, from his family, from the inner circle, that he was like owed the presidency, owed a second term. It is just very fucking grating.
The whole premise of 2024 was, yes, voters are saying that Joe Biden's age is his biggest liability, but don't worry, because Joe Biden's the closer, and when you see him campaign, he's going to put those worries to rest. He had a good State of the Union, and then he had the worst debate any of us had ever seen, and it became insurmountable. And so at long last,
he didn't put the concerns to rest, he put his campaign to rest.
Right. And at long last, the Democratic establishment decided to listen to the voters. And it was very hard to get the establishment to do that, but ultimately they did that. And everybody kind of collectively ultimately were able to get Joe Biden to step aside and do the right thing for the country. Now, we don't live in the world where Joe Biden ran that race all the way to the end. But one thing we know is that Hunter Biden, throughout Joe Biden's presidency, was a terrible liability for him. And put the addiction aside, it is because he was on Burisma, because he became an artist, because he was part of a kind of like sleazy Washington that, as Tommy said, people hated. You were a liability.
Like, you have no evidence for any of this. I just can't believe that the standards are literally in hell for these fucking retards. It's actually unfucking believable to me. Like, why was he a liability? because the conservatives literally wouldn't shut the fuck up about him for half a decade. Like, how many special counsel, how many Senate inquiries, how many House committee things, how many fucking Twitter videos do we have to see from all these fucking people? Yeah, no shit, he was a liability because they told you to make him a liability. Like, Kushner never got even remotely the same treatment, despite the fact that he was like the unelected architect of the fucking Abraham Accords and is stealing multi-billion-dollar deals with fucking Saudi Arabia. Or the fact that it would take me 20 minutes to rattle off all the insane, corrupt shit that Donald Trump and his family is involved in right the fuck now that nobody gives a fuck about.
You should be ashamed of the ways in which you made your father's political life worse. And like the idea that we're going to listen to you now, like give me a fucking break.
It's actually just unbelievable. Okay. No, it's not good. Bad empanada?
Talking about.
What is this?
Because I think we agree.
Uh-oh.
I think we agree. Hang on. Let me just pop out.
Sorry, my chat's fucking pissing me the fuck off. So.
Why? What are they doing? They're like, we are okay with corruption when it's our
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we love nepotism. Cronyism is my favorite.
Okay.
Having the right last name and becoming a consultant for no-show jobs is based, actually. Have you ever seen The Sopranos?
Just to be clear, that's not what nepotism is. Nepotism is not when you're known as being part of some other family or whatever, and then you get hired as a place because of your connections or whatever else. Nepotism is like when your family members get you a job because they either like work with the company or they put in a good word for you or they get you hired like that. The idea that nepotism is, oh, wow, wait, you're part of this family that are known for this thing or whatever. Oh, you know, like you've got some skill set or whatever else. Because remember, Hunter Biden had a background in all this as well. Like the guy was the fucking head of the whatever part of the USAID shit, and he'd like been on boards and shit before. It's not like Hunter Biden just walked in randomly and got this job. Like having a renowned name and then having like work that's attached to that name doesn't necessarily count as nepotism unless you can show or demonstrate it somehow. Yeah, like he's got like a JD at Yale and everything. Like the fuck are we talking about here?
The thing
Fucking
is,
kill me, dude.
they just love Biden. This we have to understand. They love Biden. Oh, wait a second. This isn't working. You know what? We're good.
Sorry, you're kind of.
Just gonna do one.
Sorry, you're kind of low for me. I need to turn you up.
Okay, yeah, turn me up, bro.
Chat. I'm gonna scroll to the bottom. Real quick. Let me read this. Bibliolife says pounder points for $5. Not only are they trading on their last name, they're also selling out the reputation of the United States. Okay, all right. That's the last super chat. I'm scrolling. If Pisco, sorry, one more super chat. Fight Pisco regarding the Hutch stuff. Perfectly. All right, and then if Pisco is too loud, please tell me. But I need him to be louder in order to hear him. All right, go Pisco.
Testing 1, 2, 3. How do I sound? Am I okay?
You sound great to me.
All right. Yo. So first of all, thank you so much for taking this call. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
And
It's always good content, even when we yell at each other. It's good content.
I think so as well. I think that you're really good content. I think that you're someone with honor. All right. I think you have a lot of honor, and I appreciate that. I like how you talked about Liberty Mutual and your unit and all that stuff, and you stand up for justice. All that
Was that all they talk about for Hunter? Or
so the first thing I want to talk to you about is the Hunter Biden. So we can break
boy.
some bread, and we can get into the Hutch stuff that I want to ask you a question about. All right. So first of all, I don't like what Hunter is doing right now. Do you agree?
I haven't gotten into it enough. Weirdly enough, he's sufficiently charismatic that if Hunter Biden was like, "Hey, Connor, let's go get a beer," I'd probably go get a beer. Now, as far as the self-sweeping,
Connor, he's in recovery.
Oh, pussy! What a loser. So, anyway, but as far as like I caught some. I'm very early in the stream, but I caught some self-sweeping. I feel like there was some self-sweeping in there.
I think that it's a little bit unhinged to think that Joe Biden should have been the nominee in 2024, and I think that part of what Hunter Biden is doing right now is a kind of counterattack at what he feels are a bunch of Democrats who betrayed him, when, in my opinion, it's kind of Joe Biden who betrayed the Democrats initially by not even making a decision, really just like floating into this re-election campaign without stopping to even ask the question, is this a good idea? And so I just don't like that. I think that they're implying this entire time Joe Biden could have beat Trump, and I think that if Joe Biden was on that ticket, it was going to be an incredibly horrible landslide victory for Trump that would have put us back even further with him. And I think that part of what Hunter Biden is doing right now,
Early in the stream, but I caught
Biden should have been the nominee in 2024. And I think that part of what Hunter Biden is doing right now is a kind of counterattack at what he feels are a bunch of Democrats who betrayed him, when, in my opinion, it's kind of Joe Biden who betrayed the Democrats initially by not even making a decision, really just like floating into this re-election campaign without stopping to even ask the question, is this a good idea? And so I just don't like that. I think that they're implying this entire time Joe Biden could have beat Trump, and I think that if Joe Biden was on that ticket, it was going to be an incredibly horrible landslide victory for Trump that would have put us back even further than we are right now.
I think that I heard you guys talk about this because I think I pre-watched some of the content, and you guys effectively said that there was polling post-debate, pre-election that effectively showed that this was going to be a down-ballot disaster, where effectively like Kamala, like people feel bad because the late-minute switch-out might have cost Kamala the election, but realistically the damage was minimized. So I think that's a compelling narrative.
Yeah, and the second part is I've been arguing against some leftoids, not really leftoids, more blue MAGA, the blue MAGA types, who say that I'm insufficiently loyal to Biden because I condemn as corrupt the pardoning of Hunter Biden, which I have and I did ever since those pardons were issued. And even though I have argued strongly against you, the notion that Joe Biden was in on this stuff, was in some sort of very intricate way, that doesn't mean that you're allowed to respond with political pardons, what I take to be corrupt pardons, on the basis of personal familial allegiance. And so I really appreciate what you were just saying there about Liberty Mutual. I think it's the wrong incentive.
But he was only being investigated because of personal familial allegiance, right? Did Joe Biden pardon his whole family, or was it just Hunter and the J6 Select Committee? Those people weren't all his family members, right? On the January 6th Select Committee, were those people all Joe Biden's family members? I don't remember. I don't think they were, right?
The wrong thing to do. And yeah, like, it's not just also the gun thing. People conflate it with just the gun thing. Like, oh, but the gun thing was just like, it was never done before. Even putting aside that's true, and it might be true. I don't think that novelty by itself is enough to pardon someone. Like, every crime needs to be applied for the first time in one way. So, like, I mean, Trump, arguably with the New York case, even though I felt he was very guilty, and the evidence showed that, there was like a novel application of one of the predicate offenses to condemn him on that basis. And then also, beyond just the gun charge, there's the tax fraud. And everyone seems to put aside the fact that it's not just he didn't report his taxes, he lied about his income when he knew he was making millions from Burisma, and he lied about it. So even though you and I...
Wait, did he lie about his income? I didn't see that. But the thing isn't necessarily about him lying about his income. It's that he had already paid all of it back. It had already been paid off with interest and penalties. I don't remember if he lied about it or if he just didn't file or whatever. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I have thought about like what's Joe Biden's involvement there. I have never ever said that like Hunter Biden is innocent or that Hunter Biden should be pardoned just because he's the son of the president.
Yeah, and I think I got pissed at you in the past because I think that some people, my chat mainly, because they're fucking brilliant and have 3,000 IQ, although they piss me the fuck off all the time. I think some people pay attention to the words that are being said and they create conceptions within their mind of what's actually being said and they understand it and they fight it out logically. I think a lot of people only respond emotionally where they can kind of feel like, oh, this person's more on my side, therefore, I'm going to cheer them on. And so substantively, I feel like with you and me, part of the emotion of the fight that we had previously about Hunter is I felt like that you were minimizing. Still feel that way a little bit. But I could understand the logical conceptions that you were making. And there are people in my chat who effectively followed your emotional argument, but did not follow your logical argument. And so they're arguing with me right now. They're like, no, Hunter Biden did nothing wrong. He's kissed babies for 20 years. He's God's gift to America and corporations. He's amazing. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about? And no offense, I think it's partially your and Steven's fault.
And Steven's fault?
Well, not because of the logic. The logical articulations you guys have made are logical. The emotional argumentation is that Hunter Biden is a saint and nobody should give a fuck about it.
That's what I take to kind of be like Steven's point of view, which is like...
I don't know if that's literally his point of view, though. I feel like that's emotionally his point of view.
He's like, anyone sewing out about the pardons is a piece of shit, or like sewing out about them.
Yep.
By the way,
that doesn't mean that you're a saint, though. I don't think that Hunter Biden was a saint. He had a whole fucking addiction issue and everything else. But he was the victim of a political witch hunt. Like, that's undoubtedly true. So I'm like, I don't know what else. That's just so obviously true.
What about him that much? They're constantly brought up to me to be like, listen, you're beyond the pale. You're just trying to hurt Democrats. Don't you know, by attacking Biden, by attacking... Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think that Hutch's perspective, which I heard, and your perspective are actually not contradictory, okay? Mm-hmm. You can believe that it's a bad look for Democrats and it's also corruption or soft corruption or whatever, but pardon your son for any and all crimes for the past decade, and effectively you said you weren't going to do it, so that feels like a betrayal to your voting base. That's a true statement. Now, what Hutch said, which I agree with, which is that people are human, they have some level of familial loyalty, and so as a result, you can expect a father who lost his daughter, lost his wife, lost his eldest son, and is on the verge of losing his youngest son.
You should never grant this because you minimize the unhinged obsession that Republicans had with investigating Hunter Biden for years and years and years. Don't grant this bullshit that he only pardoned him because Joe Biden lost family members or whatever. Like, that's not the case. The case is the fact that Republicans were obsessively like witch hunting through this entire dude's fucking history to try to find something to convict him on. Originally, it was over the Burisma stuff that these guys apparently agreed that Hunter Biden was a horrible person for being a part of, which Republicans found no evidence of anything for. So then they decided to do this weird gun charge that I don't know if anybody's even been convicted of this crime before. Okay, I'm not actually sure. I don't know if I've ever seen it before. And then the tax thing that he'd already made up with the IRS and paid everything back for it.
To incarceration, you can expect him to pardon his son, and that's understandable from a familial loyalty perspective. I don't think that is contradictory. I think both of those statements can stand.
Yeah, I guess I would expect it in the sense of like, could I predict it? Maybe you can predict it. Maybe it's like reasonable to anticipate that father might do that. That's a separate question from whether it's the right thing to do.
Well, I liked what you said, even if I didn't agree with it, where you were like, yes, but as a public servant, you must put the public interest ahead of yourself. And I was like, fucking Patriot Pisco, fucking Patriot Pisco, the public servant.
Yeah, bro. Love is the death of duty, man. I mean, they're right about that. Like, you swear.
That sounds like a Warhammer saying.
That's a Game of Thrones. That's why they take the oaths in the wall, right? To not have any children is because love is the death of duty. And ultimately, like, a lot of tragedies bear that out. That when even Anakin Skywalker, why did he turn away? He was afraid to lose the thing he loved. But when you swear an oath, when you have a higher calling, a higher allegiance, yeah, it might be understandable that you come up short. But I think you need to strive towards it, and especially when he gave his word as a Biden, right? And that's their common phrase. And I give you my word as a Biden for what that's worth.
Yeah, now that word's worth dog shit. And the I would like to jump into the fiction real quick. So with the Star Wars references, what's interesting about watching that, I'm actually doing a breakdown channel about Star Wars now. What's interesting about that is watching how the Jedi failed in their own institutional principles leading up to Anakin existing as like the messianic figure who they knew was fucked up, but they were kind of like praying that he was not fucked up enough to destroy the whole galaxy, but they always knew that there was this potential. And so that's the thing. It's like, there's people in my chat who are like, oh, well, human's gonna human. You know, they basically take like a Brittany Simon approach to things. But it's like, no, dude, you have to reinforce ideals. Like that's the point of ideals. Human beings fail in ideals all the time, but if you don't reinforce them, then we don't have any.
Yeah, and that's why I think one of the things that Biden did that was most honorable is he started his administration appointing Merrick Garland to the Department of Justice to bring back independence to the Department of Justice. And yet, as it went on, as we're getting reporting, Joe Biden grew increasingly frustrated that Merrick Garland wasn't like choosing to call off the indictment of his son because it's his son. And I think that's very...
Grew increasingly frustrated is a bad thing? What? Maybe he was frustrated because the entire investigation was a fucking sham. Maybe he was frustrated because this was a special counsel that had been chosen to investigate his son for bad dealings in Ukraine with Burisma, and it ended up being a witch hunt over taxes he'd already paid off and him lying on a fucking gun for him because he was addicted to crack. What the fuck? What is this evidence? What?
Well, hold on. What is that reporting though? Because I insinuated this without evidence. And then people were like, "You're fucking crazy." And then
no, I never said no. There was.
So now the standard for Democrats is they can't be frustrated. You're not allowed to be. You're not allowed to be frustrated. I'm not also convinced of this whole lying on his taxes thing or whatever. It sounds like for 1 year he just tried to take some bullshit deductions, which is like bad, I guess. But that's materially, that's like a minor part. The issue is Hunter didn't pay taxes for like fucking 4 years. Like, 2016, 2017, and 2019. I'm sorry, 2016 through 2019, he didn't pay his fucking taxes. And then at the very end here, the conservatives put, when he did finally file his 2018 returns, he included false business deductions in order to reduce the very substantial tax liability he faced as of February 2020. My guess is he lied on some deductions there, which you shouldn't do. Everybody apparently that does business shit does this. But like, this is not the rest of what he was being charged with. And the fact that they didn't even include any specifics here makes me think it was probably just some stupid bullshit. Like he was claiming a deduction that he shouldn't have on some property or whatever bullshit here. But the vast majority of this is just he didn't pay his taxes, which he said he didn't. But in 2019, he squared up with the IRS and he did pay all of his taxes. So why the fuck are we charging him afterward, years afterwards? Holy shit.
Real-time reporting, I forget from whom, but it was either like Washington Post or Wall Street Journal, someone, that Biden was reportedly frustrated with Merrick Garland. That happened during Biden's term. And then
He's not allowed to be frustrated? Joe Biden is not allowed to be frustrated? Meanwhile, for the investigation into the Russia collusion shit, Donald Trump fired Comey. He publicly excoriated Sessions for recusing himself from interfering in anything. He pardoned every single person, people that were charged with obstruction into Mueller's investigation.
fucking crazy. And then
no, I never said no. There was in real-time reporting, I forget from whom, but it was either like Washington Post or Wall Street Journal, someone, that Biden was reportedly frustrated with Merrick Garland. That happened during Biden's term. And then Jake Tapper has uncovered more evidence in more interviews that Joe Biden was really angry that
what? Bro, this can't be real. It's got to be troll or something at this point. And now as more information come out, we've actually found out that Biden was furious.
that Merrick Garland wasn't dropping the suit on his
Well,
son.
and I feel like I'm describing color to a blind man because like I worked in law enforcement before. I worked in corporate America before. Obviously on small end, small potatoes. I'm not trying to exaggerate my shit, but I've had conversations with people where I basically told them like, no, you need to be explicit with what you're asking me to do, and then they insisted on being like, well, I can't legally tell you blah 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 blah.
He's like, anyone sewing out about the pardons is a piece of shit, or like shouldn't be sewing out about them. By the way, I don't soy out about him that much.
To pardon your son for any and all crimes for the past decade. And what Hutch said, you can expect in his, don't think that that is contradictory. I think both of those statements can stand.
But yeah, I guess I would expect it in the sense of like, could I predict it? Maybe you can predict it. Maybe it's like reasonable to anticipate that a father might do that. That's a separate question from whether it's the right thing to do.
Well, I liked what you said. I was like, fucking Patriot Pisco, fucking Patriot Pisco, the public servant.
Yeah, bro. Love is the death of duty, man. I mean, they're right about that. Like, you swear.
That sounds like a Warhammer saying.
That's a Game of Thrones. That's a
love is the death of duty. So like this whole section is premised on how Biden failed his fucking duty, and the evidence we're given is that more and more evidence is coming out that he was mad that at Merrick Garland. That's what we're talking about here. That
And then
No. I never said no. There was in real time reporting. I forget from whom, but it was either like Washington Post or Wall Street Journal, someone that Biden was reportedly frustrated with Merrick Garland. That happened during Biden's term, and then Jake Tapper has uncovered more evidence in more interviews that Joe Biden was really angry that Merrick Garland wasn't dropping the suit on his son.
And I feel like I'm describing color to a blind man, because like I worked in law enforcement before. I worked in corporate America before. Obviously on small end, small potatoes. I'm not trying to exaggerate my shit, but I've had conversations with people.
Oh my God. The 2018. Oh, hold on. That was a person in chat. Hold on. You said somebody in chat. Wait, where is this in here? The most serious allegations in this case stem from the 3 felony charges: tax evasion for 2018, filing a false personal tax return for 2018, and filing a false corporate tax return for 2018. Prosecutors say Hunter Biden claimed tax deductions for personal expenses that were disguised as business expenses, significantly lowering his tax bill. According to the indictment, some of those supposed business expenses included a $44,000 stay at the famous Chateau Marmont in West Hollywood, $30,000 for his daughter's tuition at Columbia Law School, and $11,500 for 2 nights with an escort, and then $4,000 at a strip club, $1,700 for a Lamborghini rental, and $275 for dinner at Nobu. So he was claiming bullshit deductions. What is this? $150,000 total in deductions, which would probably amount to maybe what, $40,000 of tax liability here that he would have owed. Like, it's not good, but like, this is not that we would go back and retroactively felony. Meanwhile, you look for felony charges. Meanwhile, Roger Stone was trying to hide literally all of his fucking money with his with his wife by claiming he was broke. Roger Stone didn't get charged with anything in this, right? This says there's an indictment. I thought he just paid this off, or maybe they ended up charging him, and this happens I looked last. Hold on. Oh my God. I didn't even know the Justice Department could do that. The Justice Department filed a civil suit against Roger Stone, meaning they were just suing him to get the taxes paid. A civil suit asserting that they'd used a commercial entity to shield their income and fund their personal expenses. In 2022, they settled for him just agreeing to pay the taxes back. Unbelievable. That's okay, though.
Where I basically told them, like, no, you need to be explicit with what you're asking me to do. And then they insisted on being like, well, I can't legally tell you blah, 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 blah. And then it was like, so they said the legal thing, but they were implying the corrupt thing. And so, that's where for me, like, if you've never been in those rooms, then you might have never felt that. But even with like managers or deputy chiefs or chiefs of police or managers at corporations or corporate managers, they will say the legal thing. That way, if it's being audio recorded or typed out or messages, they can fall back on that from a legalistic perspective, but they will 100% imply.
Destiny, in the tweet, you said Roger Stone was directly in contact with the hacker. Is that true? I'm pretty sure Roger Stone was literally tweeting at him. Was he not? Or did he just admit that he was interacting with him in DMs or something?
Former Trump campaign advisor Roger Stone. He's admitting tonight that he is the unnamed person who had communication with an alleged Russian hacker. Janine Stanwood is live in Fort Lauderdale, where she got Stone's side of the story. Janine.
And Lori, Roger Stone has admitted even before tonight that he was in contact with somebody called Guccifer 2.0, but he says he does not think that person is a Russian nor a hacker.
That was a Russian hacker from the is it one of the bear things? This was the Guccifer guy is the guy that leaked all the Podesta emails and hacked the DNC, and Roger Stone was coordinating media timing on it to optimize the damage to the fucking Clintons, and he was working with Donald Trump's campaign. Like, it is direct collusion with fucking Russian intelligence, but the Mueller investigation just couldn't get all the way up to Trump himself. So that's why Republicans scream like, no collusion. This is a conspiracy, by the way. Guess what Roger Stone was ultimately convicted of? He was convicted of obstruction in the investigation and telling another witness to obstruct the investigation into Donald Trump. And then he got pardoned by Donald Trump over the rest of fucking investigation shit. It's okay.
Even though the DOJ says otherwise. Political operative and
Destiny,
Fort
I
Lauderdale
got
resident Roger Stone
hella
believes he
pushback
is
on
the
that. Yeah, you got pushback because conservatives have rewritten history on fucking everything. This is not contested. But conservatives would kill themselves. Connor's head would explode. If Hillary Clinton had a campaign manager or somebody working our campaign that was like, oh yeah, so I was talking with a guy that hacked the Donald Trump email inbox and was coordinating leaks for the last 2 fucking years in order to besmirch him in front of our media. Like, they would lose their minds.
unnamed Trump campaign regular who corresponded with an alleged Russian hacker mentioned in Friday's bombshell indictment.
I certainly meet the description of being in touch with the Trump campaign officials, and I did have one 24-word, rather innocuous exchange with the persona Guccifer 2.0.
Stone does not deny messaging someone called Guccifer 2.0. They exchanged direct messages on Twitter in 2016.
Anyone who looks at it objectively will see, based on content, context, and timing, is innocuous. My exchange with Guccifer 2.0 happens 4 weeks after WikiLeaks has already published the DNC material.
Some of it.
Did not think at that point that he was a Russian or a hacker.
What did Stone accomplish by colluding with a hacker? They were trying to media time leaks because there was a drip feed of all this shit for like a fucking year when these emails were published.
But Justice Department officials say Guccifer 2.0 is part of a Russian intelligence military unit that conspired to sway voters in the 2016 presidential election. Stone contends he still doesn't know who Guccifer is and did nothing wrong.
I certainly don't expect to be charged with any offense pertaining to the hacking of the DNC or the transferring of a material, allegedly hacked emails, to WikiLeaks, because I have no involvement in any of that.
Has the Department of Justice contacted you?
They have not.
And Stone also says that he thinks that President Trump should meet with Vladimir Putin. He says that he thinks that Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election is not the most pressing issue. We're in Fort Lauderdale tonight. I'm Janine Stanwood, Local 10 News.
Even if it's not illegal, they'll imply the corrupt thing. And so you kind of have to be in those rooms.
Well, thankfully, I don't think that Joe Biden ever expressed those concerns to the Attorney General. And so I'm glad about that. I think that what Biden did he by and large, I think, governed with honor at certain times. Now, that said, I think his own human failings started to show that he wasn't up to the task of being the president, especially in the last 2 years where he wasn't having regular meetings with his cabinet, things like that. But in general, one of the things I really respect about Biden is, in many respects, he was like everything Trump wasn't. He was bridge building, or attempted to be bridge building, in a way that Trump was trying to dismantle the bridges. He passed lots of legislation with bipartisan support, meaningful legislation, not just tax cuts for the rich, and was actually trying to do something for the public benefit all the time with his NLRB, with his different agencies, different regulations. So I respect all that. I think his worst moments are when he was tempted by the Trumpian style. There was some Trumpian, like the Goblin. Who's the Goblin from Spider-Man? Green Goblin.
Yeah,
like,
the mask.
It's like there are moments in Trump's presidency where that blonde fucking hair just like goes, and you can see it in the mirror and has to like fucking just swat it away. But there are very Trumpian moments that are being revealed now with respect to his frustration with the DOJ that they're not protecting.
It's that Reddit post. It's right. I just realized this. I think I must be crazy. I think I'm just fucking insane. Or maybe I'm too much in this shit. Pisco doesn't think Trump was that bad. That's what Pisco's saying. He just doesn't think Trump was that bad. Like, when Biden pardoned his son, who was the victim of like how many different, a special counsel, all of these special House Committee, Senate, all these investigations. When Joe Biden pardoned Hunter Biden, that was a Trumpian moment. Meanwhile, Donald Trump right now is in the process of potentially issuing a fucking pardon to Ghislaine Maxwell because of a 5-year, 10-year conspiracy that they fabricated that they're now not able to come up with evidence for. This is one of like 50 unbelievable things. But I think that he just doesn't think it was that bad. That's the answer. This is it. They don't think it's that bad. This is the answer. Lately, I thought this isn't even a good post. I think this might have been. It started with a thought has been taking shape in my mind. It started with the Tom Bilyeu discussion. It really clicked during the recent WIC panel debate. There's a fundamental disconnect around just how bad Trump actually is. Because that prior isn't shared, many political conversations end up going nowhere. Now, I get what some might say. People constantly call Trump bad. They make content criticizing him. They disagree with him. They work against him. What more do you want? But it's not just that Trump is bad. It's how bad. That difference in degree becomes obvious when you look at how people argue, what they focus on, and how they respond to figures like Destiny or the soy pill. It was painfully clear when people kept comparing Trump to Democrats, or when Wick said folks would disown their friends and family over supporting Trump as if it were extreme. But if you truly internalize that Trump attempted an insurrection, this is undeniable. Had close ties with Epstein and may have protected him, possibly. Every indication right now seems to be that. Is actively undermining U.S. institutions, like all of them. What did Colombia just agreed to pay $200 million. I don't even know if this may be reading. Put this in here. More than $200 million to settle a, because of anti-Semitism. I can't even believe this. Supports illegal deportations without due process. The Alien Enemies Act? Then, of course, you disown someone who knowingly supports him. And no, bringing up Hillary's deplorables, Kyle Rittenhouse or Hunter Biden, isn't remotely comparable. Hunter said it best in his interview. If you take the worst things that Hunter Biden was accused of and you assume they're all true, they don't scratch the surface of even just the World Liberty Financial Organization, of just that. And there's like 50 million other things you could bring up. Some centrists are starting to peel off, citing this like the Epstein revelations or the one big beautiful bill or tariffs, but how much do they really care? The fact that Witt, Connor, and Erdogan can end up in a situation where they're making these kinds of comparisons and attacking this.
In the mirror, it's like there are moments in Trump's presidency where that blonde fucking hair just like goes and you can see it in the mirror and he has to like fucking just swat it away. But there are very Trumpian moments that are being revealed now with respect to his frustration with the DOJ that they're not protecting him, both in the Her report. And he was apoplectic about the.
Like, think about what Pisco just said there. It was very Trumpian when he was upset that a special counsel that had been appointed by his own attorney general in his own administration for secret documents that he turned over to Nora on his own cognizance with his own willing, right? That a special counsel was appointed in his own administration to release a scathing report on him when Donald Trump's own criminal indictment over documents that he most certainly stole illegally was dismissed, right? And basically like that he was frustrated by that. Donald Trump spent how much of administration trying to kill the Mueller investigation? Mueller was only appointed because Donald Trump obstructed the investigation into his own fucking election, because Donald Trump fired fucking Comey to obstruct the investigation. A belief, by the way, nobody ever talks about it. I have read through some of this. A belief, by the way, that I'm pretty sure is shared by Mueller, but nobody talks about the obstruction angle. I'm going to lose my mind. I can't. It might be in volume 2 of this. But Mueller walks through, I'm assuming he's the final author of this. He walks through all of the individuals or whatever that like, and how, obstruction of justice. Was it? Fuck. The Comey stuff is certainly the worst. Oh, I already read some of this to you on stream. We got rid of Flynn now. We should be good, right? We're good, right? We're good, right?
The Her report, even though he cooperated in the first instance, he was trying to do the right thing, but then that Trumpian little mirror came in and he had to sort of fight that urge. Same thing with Hunter Biden.
What is the Trumpian mirror? Like Pisco just said, he fully cooperated with it. What is the he even sat down and did deposition at time. What is the Trumpian mirror because he was upset? Like, does Pisco think Donald Trump is bad because he gets mad? Is that the thought process right now that leftists have been reduced to? Donald Trump is bad because he gets mad. And Joe Biden is like Trump because sometimes Joe Biden gets mad. Is that where we're at right now with our political analysis?
Where he fought that urge, and then gave into it when he actually did the pardon. And then with the border, right?
And pardoning Hunter was giving into his Trumpian urges. I can't even. It's unreal.
He kept saying, we have to do it the right way. We can't just do executive actions. We need to have a congressional solution. And then when the election was coming up, he did what I thought was against the law, and he shut down the border illegally using executive power and gave into that Trumpian impulse. And I think, or when he tried to hold on to power by not stepping down when it was clear it was over and taking 3 weeks before handing over to Kamala Harris or handing over to the DNC. Those are Trumpian moments that marred an otherwise a presidency that I think was by and large characterized by honor and trying to be everything that Trump wasn't.
Well, and I can understand the frustration. So, for instance, like I'm sure we'll talk about the Vanguard in a moment, but I can understand the frustrations of the far left, and I actually think that there's something real about it, which is effectively that people are so wrapped up in process that they will even ignore things that are immediate and emergent.
Like what?
I can understand the frustrations of and I can understand the frustration. So, for instance, like I'm sure we'll talk about the Vanguard in a moment, but I can understand the frustrations of the far left, and I actually think that there's something real about it, which is effectively that people are so wrapped up in process that they will even ignore things that are immediate and emergencies and all that kind of stuff. But I think that this is how republics die. Okay. Part of the reason why I'm pushing back on the left, pushing back on the far left, pushing back on liberals whenever they say, I know we disagree on this, but let's pack the courts. Let's do Trump style politics. Let's use the bully pulpit. Let's do this. Let's do that. The reason why you'll hear me complaining about it is because effectively, like, I feel like we're seesawing as a nation. Like imagine like a boat that is, rocking. It's
just unreal. I just don't even know. I like this is like I'm like gaslit as fuck right now. It's like having a conversation about a guy who he flicked his girlfriend's ear and he thought it was cute and she's like, that actually hurts. And then you're like, we can't really take your opinions on like women's rights seriously. And then compares them to like Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, how are we supposed to choose between the two of you now? How can we possibly decide who's right? Like, this is how our system dies, is when you're doing crazy shit like that. Like when you flicked your ear that one time, like, it's just like, there's no way that we can possibly choose between, like, this is just unbelievable. This is unbelievable.
In the ocean. And so effectively what I hear is like, we're seesawed all the way to the right now. And what I'm hearing people is, oh, we need to seesaw all the way to the left right now. But that's how you capsize the fucking boat. And that's what I'm worried about.
Well, let's get into the actual discussion from Vanguard, Hutch, all that stuff. So give me your reaction before I because I actually don't know it. I saw
I was thinking for Hutch. So I think Hutch has a debate kill shot in a couple of places. So the first kill shot that he had, argumentatively, in my opinion, was that you could not bully Manchin. So even if you want Democrats to use the bully pulpit more often, it just wasn't pragmatic in this specific circumstance. That's number one.
On that, I just want to say we agree on the specific Manchin point that he couldn't have gotten Manchin through bullying to be in favor of like $15 minimum wage or some of these crazy policy goals that the Vanguard is saying. And I just want to make sure that you understand that every one of the Live and Learn co-hosts agrees with Hutch, and we have been consistent on that. Like even before.
But I think you guys were again emotional versus logical arguments. I think people could kind of vibe on the fact.
Mr. Thomas, I have some bad news. You have a serious medical condition, and if you don't have surgery immediately, you'll likely die.
Oh my God.
With your current health care plan, you can only choose between 2 people to do the surgery, but the choice is totally yours. We have Dr. Stewart, a surgeon trained specifically in this procedure, or the circus clown.
Wow. Gotcha.
The first question is, has the surgeon, I haven't seen this video before, but I'm going to like it, I can tell. My first question would be, has the surgeon ever made a mistake ever in the history of his entire practice ever, even a single fucking time? That's my first question. My second question would be, is he the best possible surgeon out of the entire field, or is there anybody better ever? And then my third question is, has the clown made somebody laugh recently? So at least he's like a likable guy that I could have a beer with. And if so, it's a coin flip.
Where did the surgeon go to school?
You heard your options, right?
Yeah, I know. It's just, this is my life we're talking about.
Yes.
I just want to make an informed decision.
Well, it looks like Dr. Stewart went to undergrad at Purdue University.
Purdue? Not like a Harvard or the other one?
Like, true. Like, you said he was mad, and then you said, wait a second, Jack Tapper is now confirming reports that Joe Biden was furious? Wow.
He did undergrad at Purdue, and then med school at NYU, and then residency at Johns Hopkins.
And the clown?
Just a circus clown, not a surgeon, but it does look like this clown was best known for performing at Bartholomew and Bot's Big Ring.
Oh my God, I've seen him. He's kind of famous.
Yeah, he's clown famous.
And the surgeon, he's not famous?
Well, he is very renowned in his field.
But I wouldn't, like, recognize him from anything?
Anything being?
I don't know, like a show or Instagram or TikTok.
No.
It's a lot of moving around.
Huh?
The surgeon, a lot of moving around. Purdue, the other places that you said.
Yes.
So that's not suspicious to you?
No.
I see. So you're in on this?
In on what?
I see. And the clown, did he do a lot of moving around during his experience?
You mean his experience as a clown and not a doctor of any kind?
Yes.
No. He was mostly just a clown for the one circus.
Solid track record then.
Okay, I feel like we're getting a little bit off topic. You need this surgery to save your life. And there is one doctor and one clown.
Man, that clown is funny.
Mr. Thomas, this is a very serious decision.
Right, of course, totally. And just to make sure, does the surgeon have good morals?
Every doctor takes the Hippocratic Oath, which is a pretty strict ethical code.
Well, that's very reassuring. And the clown? Is there some equivalency in the clown world?
No.
Are you sure? Feels like there should be.
I'm not sure, but there would be no reason for clowns to have a moral code because they don't deal with life or death situations.
Until now, that is.
Yeah.
So maybe they should fix that?
Or you...
This is like on, I think that Ellie girl was tweeting this out yesterday. It's like, why doesn't Destiny simply prove that he didn't, say this particular? Why doesn't Destiny just prove that he didn't? It's like, wow. What? Do I need to release every single conversation I've had with every single person ever? What? How do you even do that? What?
You could just have him not operate on you.
For sure, for sure. It's just the surgeon is clearly a privileged elite.
Okay.
So obviously that means that he worships the devil and he dissects baby squirrels.
There is no reason to think that the surgeon does any of that.
But the idea's out there now, isn't it?
Because you said it.
I know, but now that it's out there, it just feels so icky.
I'll be honest with you. This clown has performed surgery before, and he has killed a lot of people.
How many people?
Over 200,000 in the last 8 months.
Wow, that is a lot of numbers. But maybe they would have died anyway?
But that's the point. Probably a lot of people could have been saved with the proper surgeon.
I'm leaning clown.
Why?
The clown told me he could do the surgery. And I don't know where you're getting your numbers, but the clown just gave me this very confident looking graph.
Oh my God, I can assure you, he doesn't know how to do surgery. He is a clown.
So one of you two is lying to me. How do I know that you're not the clown?
Because he's the clown.
Fair. He's very good at tricks, though. The satanic squirrel dissector, does he do tricks?
You mean the surgeon? He can do the very impressive trick of saving your life from all his years of training as a surgeon.
It'd be pretty wild, though, if the clown did my surgery. So crazy.
Yes, that would be crazy.
I know, he's not even trained.
Exactly. This clown has no idea what he's doing, and if you don't get the surgery, you will die.
Don't tell me what to do.
It's not telling you what to do if I'm just describing the facts of the world around you.
Well, don't describe the facts of the world around me.
Bias. That's a liberal bias. That's biased. Notice how the liberals only ever shut down the conservative conspiracies in 2020? Kind of biased, right? How they only ever attacked the COVID conspiracies and the vaccine conspiracies and the climate change conspiracies and the moon landing conspiracies. Just saying, you know.
If they're bad.
Okay, surgeon, clown. What are you gonna do?
I don't know yet, but maybe if I yell enough, I'll figure it out. You push me into this room and you put the weight of the world on my shoulders.
What? This isn't even a funny video, actually. I don't even like this. I'm hurting. Like, the only thing is, actually, it's a dog shit video because he shouldn't be about to give this speech. It should be somebody else that comes in and says, how do you expect this guy to choose the surgeon when you're sitting here, like, bullying him over his choice to choose the clown? Like, why are you're coming down so hard on this guy? What do you expect is going to happen?
But maybe if I yell enough, I'll figure it out. You push me into this room and you put the weight of the world on my shoulders, and then you tell me that my only and obvious choice is this buttoned-up sucker, and then my only other option is this fake non-option, and you call me an idiot for doubting the integrity of the system itself? Well, as I see it, that's the only reasonable thing to do in this fucked-up scenario. And I don't know, maybe you're wrong. Maybe there is some other choice. Or maybe I can beat this thing on my own. Or maybe you're lying to me and I'm not even sick. Or maybe, just maybe, if I'm gonna die anyway, then my one mark on this stupid planet is to be the guy that got famous for having the world's most popular clown give him surgery. 'Cause fuck it, and fuck all of you. And the clown told me he could do it. Maybe it'll be great and cool.
I know this isn't easy or comfortable. This is a very serious situation. But there is hope. There is a way out. And yes, the system is flawed. And you and I might agree or we might disagree on how it's flawed, but it is. And that's why we need people like you to make it through the surgery so that you can make a difference and help change the system. This clown doesn't know how to do surgery.
I'm a great surgeon!
And if you let him, it's not going to be good. I promise you. He is bad, and he is not cool. And if enough people like you pick the clown, there might not even be a surgeon as an option next time.
I understand.
They missed the 20 seconds afterwards, though, where now after this happens, now you need a whole bunch of epic centrists to come in and go, we agree that picking the clown was a problem, but the surgeon lost the trust of this guy when 27 years ago they admitted that there was a technique they were using that was suboptimal versus another technique they could have used. So what do you expect the guy to do when you lose everybody's trust? By the way, you don't need a hypothetical for this. Like, we can just look at how many people like died early in the United States that didn't need to because they refused to get vaccinated for COVID. Like, that was some actual death cult shit. What was the date for this? Oh, it was October 2021. Nearly 319,000 COVID-19 deaths could have been averted if all adults had gotten vaccinated. And the reason why they didn't was just purely because of misinformation and lies from Trump and his compatriots. I don't know.